when Dwight Eisenhower was the Supreme Commander of the Allied forces in Europe during World War II, he made the observation that what is urgent is not always important, and what is important is not always urgent. And so he came up with, or somebody put this into a 2x2 matrix, where you've got the things that are, things that are urgent and things that are important. Quadrant 1 is the quadrant of putting out fires. These are crises that have broken out. Something has come up and you need to deal with it, and you need to deal with it now. Quadrant 2 is quality preparation. This is where you've got time to work on things and to prepare for what's coming. If you're working on a report at the last minute, the night before it's due, then you're in scramble mode. You're in quadrant 1. You're staying up as long as it takes to get that done, and you're probably not going to do as good of a job as if you're working on it when you still got 2 weeks to work on it, to revise it, to edit it, to see what works, what doesn't. You have more options so that you can just play around and explore, do different things. Quadrant 3, these are the things that are important, or not important, but urgent. These need to be happening. The phone, you got to answer the phone. If that's your job to answer the phone. I try to ignore the phone as much as possible. But, laundry. You got to do laundry. It just needs to be done. Gravel, it's there. We need to do it. But it takes up time. And quadrant 4 is the quadrant of escape. Just like, no, we're overwhelmed. We can't deal with the pressure anymore. And so we take a step back and we just start goofing off, slacking, and not getting anything productive done. Now, when you need more time, this is, you kind of work your way back up the ladder. The first place to reclaim time is in quadrant 4. You just stop it. Really, that's what it comes down to. The better, rest is in quadrant 2. Rest and renewal. Those are important ongoing, self-care is in quadrant 2. Self-care is like breathing. You need to do it. You can hold your breath for a little while, but not very long. You can get away with it for short periods. But the longer you go without it, the more you need it. And if you put yourself in a situation where you can't, you're not going to last long. So quadrant 4, where you're just goofing off, that's the first place to look for time that you can reclaim. Quadrant 3 is the next. Sometimes you can just ignore it because it's not that important. So maybe it doesn't matter if it gets done. And you can just eliminate it. You can find ways to automate things. Automation can be highly technical. I have buttons here on my desk that turn lights on and off rather than having to go around and turn them off individually. It's a very simple form of technical automation. Automation can be as simple as just having a checklist of the steps you need to go through for something. That's automation. Automation is not fancy and technical. Just anything that helps you get a repeatable result more quickly. Quadrant 2. Sadly, quadrant 2 is where we tend to cut time next. Because quadrant 2, you don't have the immediate deadlines. Quadrant 1 does. It's the fires. It's screaming. And the problem is we get so busy running around putting out fires that we never take the chance to stop back and ask ourselves why so many fires are breaking out in the first place. Because the more time you can spend working in quadrant 2, the less time you spend in quadrant 1. It's not going to go to 0. Things happen. Fires break out. But the more preparation you can do, the better, the less time you'll spend in quadrant 1, and the more prepared you'll be for when you get there.